Welcome back. We're still speaking about Chapter 7 of Healing America's Narratives. And that's a chapter that deals with the post 9/11 wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. And just a little bit of history that didn't get a lot of play and hasn't gotten a lot of play. But as early as November 2001, the leader of the Taliban actually approached the interim president-to-be, Hamid Karzai, about a possible surrender. And the Taliban was weakened at this stage of the game, didn't have a lot of leverage, and only asked for amnesty. In other words, being able to go back into the mountains and not be killed. When Karzai ran that by the United States government, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld basically said, and this is a quote, "The United States is not inclined to negotiate surrenders." So no deal was made. 19 years later, when the United States wanted to get out in February 2020, then President Donald Trump negotiated an American troop withdrawal with a much more powerful Taliban now, who were really poised to take over the country again, despite 19 years of American presence. And so he negotiated that treaty, and his successor, President Joe Biden, honored the agreement. And as we know, much chaos and tragedy ensued. The telling piece with regard to American Shadow, in light of that particular snippet of history, is that Rumsfeld wouldn't negotiate with the Taliban when they were very weak. Trump did negotiate with a stronger Taliban. Biden honored the agreement. Bad things happened. And I'm going to read a sentence from this chapter in the book. The familiar professional grade blend of ignorance, arrogance, violence, untrustworthiness, and humiliation avoidance once more guided the way, buttressed with self-serving narratives and partisan bickering. Right? You can take that language and go back, all the way to even pre-Vietnam. But basically, when bad things happen, rather than uniting as a country, the executive and legislative branches of the federal government, and on occasion the judicial branch as well through the federal courts and the Supreme Court, engage in partisan bickering, even though the Supreme Court allegedly is a nonpartisan entity and just interprets cases in terms of the Constitution. So we will probably have a couple more of these videos on this chapter, and then we'll move on to some other issues in the United States that provide evidence of our shadow. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. I'll see you the next time.